I'd like to call to order the meeting of December 5th, 2017. Would you all please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Here. 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 Here.
Here. Noel?
Here.
Blakeman?
Here.
Fuller?
Here.
Dana? Here.
You'll receive the meeting minutes from November 21st. Any comments or questions on those? We approve this minute. Is there anyone desiring to speak to council this evening? Come up. State your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Dan Tilio. I live at 25 Pueblo Lane. And I'm here to speak. The council is aware, 2 weeks ago the city clerk did a... 2 weeks ago the city clerk was presented with an affidavit that a committee had been formed under Article 11 of the city charter. The purpose of our initiative was to change Section 1260.05 of the city zoning code. That affidavit was rejected as not meeting charter requirements. I'm going to let others speak about that. I want to tell you that this is not about chickens. The chickens certainly prompted this action. Our concern is Section 1260.05 is far too broadly worded and vague, and that it is subject to misinterpretation and misapplication. It is also subject to inconsistent application. As we began working, I reflected on what had happened during the discussions of 1260.05 in the last year. I was not present for many of council's deliberations, so I reached out to some members of council to see if they could fill me in. Members McBain and Boggs were kind enough to give me some of their feedback. I asked two questions. Regarding the question as to whether gardens are allowed under 1260.05, I know that council voted down the proposed regulations. At that time, did council pass any resolution affirmatively stating that gardens are permitted in Columbiana? The answer I received was, we simply voted down the proposed ordinance 4-2 again. I, meaning Mr. McBain, commented during discussion that I saw no need for the ordinance as folks have always had gardens with no problems, and that I felt the ordinance was an overreach of the city's authority. Those comments were not part of any resolution. The second question I asked was regarding the chicken question on the ballot. Did council pass any resolution specifically stating that should the ballot question fail, chickens would be prohibited in Columbiana? And the answer I received was that the ballot issue only focused on providing regulations to provide restrictions on where chickens were to be allowed in residential zones. I do not believe, again, Mr. McBain, there was anything in the ordinance about what would happen if it failed. Now, as I see it, these are two very similar chains of events. The concern is noted, regulations are proposed and rejected, and council provides no guidance as to what the results of those votes actually mean. However, they had two very different outcomes. Gardens are permitted in Columbiana, but chickens are deemed as prohibited. I'm forced to ask, if not council, who decided these two very similar outcomes had such dissimilar meanings? To be blunt, our city government has made and continues to make an absolute mess of this situation. I think it is time for council to take it upon themselves to fix this and not let another day, let alone year, go by where we are arguing about chickens and gardens and flower beds, not to mention the myriad of other personal liberties that a few members of government can apparently simply take away from citizens by fiat. The only goal of our committee is to make sure that personal liberties are protected in our city. You say that gardens have never been a problem. I defy you to show how chickens have been a problem other than the problems the people in this room and in this building have created. That is. Please, just fix this now, or we're going to be talking about rabbits next, or flower beds, or swing sets, or the list just goes on and on. Thank you for your time.
Back
Thorne, 58 East Woodland. I'm going to be citing those and one more copies for reference while I highlighted. Thanks. Good evening. Quick insight, at the conclusion of the last city council meeting, Ms. Davis received an affidavit stating that a group of us citizens had formed a committee to enact an initiative under Article 11 of our charter. It included the printed and signed names of the 5 electors on the petitioners committee and their current address. It included the address that all notices to the committee are to be sent to, as well as clearly stating the intent to remove a portion of the wording from section 126005A of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Columbiana. All of these things are required information under Article 11. These are the only requirements outlined in Article 11 to initiate the process of petition. Nowhere in the article does it give power to the city to deny the right to petition council. In fact, it says, and I quote, "The qualified voters of the municipality shall have the power to propose ordinance and resolution to the council, and if council fails to adopt an ordinance or resolution so proposed without any change in substance, to adopt or reject it at an election." It goes on to say that within 5 days after the affidavit of petitioners committee is filed, the clerk shall specify the petitioners committee the appropriate petitions form that are to be used. I'd like to point out that in section 202 BB, under general definitions, states that the word shall is mandatory. We, the electors committee, would like to know why we're being denied the right to petition based on unspecified legal inadequacy found by the city's legal team, as I was told by Lance the other day, and why we are being denied when all of the required information is present on our affidavit.
Anyone else? Now, we'll move to the manager's report.
The water line project for the north end of town is going very well. Water line is being filled from Jamestown Trace to Burger King, and we're should be the Pizza Hut soon, but we've started under about 14, and that's there's a casement pipe that we put under 14 and then thread it with a 8-inch pipe going south. We'll be going down towards Balmoral, down towards the car wash, and then we should be finished up in the next 2 weeks. The water plant's still going well. Got a picture of the latest drone picture that was taken. Pretty interesting picture. See, the garage structure is almost complete there. The roof is already on now. ODOT paperwork regarding the 7 and 14 project is being assembled and will be sent out soon. Mike's put on various appropriation adjustments for 2017. He also prepared a temporary budget that's on tonight. We do have a vacancy now in the Civil Service Commission that will need to be filled with Scott Jones. He needed to resign since he was on the Civil Service Commission and he's now on Planning Commission. I will accept letters of interest until January 11th. The candidate cannot be a registered Republican. In the charter it says that no more than 2 can serve on the committee by the same political party, so we're looking for a non-Republican, not registered Republican.
When it could be any party that, other than Republican.
Yeah, as long as they're independent? Yes. The vacant term runs through May 15th of 2021, and the Civil Service Commission is appointed by council, so, the 11th is a Thursday, and we'll get that in your package, and then you can consider that, in January, the 16th meeting. Street Department, we've taken over 100 truckloads of leaves, 40 truckloads of leaf bags. Salt plow trucks are ready. Mechanics garage roof is finished. I showed you some pictures of that, and we just did some punch lists here in the last few weeks. Water Department attended a weekly job safety meeting, construction site. We've been working closely on that water line. That south end water line is almost done. Should be finishing up in a couple of weeks. We performed 47 locate, and that's a sign that a lot of stuff's going on in town. There's been times when there's only 10 a month, and there's 47 since the last council meeting. So whether it's a gas line marks or Ohio Edison in town or whatever, it's just a lot of work. 20 fire hydrants were flushed, and we rebuilt a couple hydrants. The sewer, we performed our fall schedule of cleaning sewers now that the back truck is back. Continue to press solid, and we submitted a phosphorus removal feasibility report as required by the EPA. Park and Cemetery, they did help on the leaf truck, and you probably saw them out there at the cemetery. Terry tells me we're all done out there pretty much. The rehab of the chapel is still going on. And then lastly, for the Park and Cemetery, Joy Christmas donated an upgrade for an ADA door at the Pavilion 4. That was nice. And that pretty much finishes that up. We've got the new sidewalk in, both restrooms are ADA, and that door is. Electric Department, they've been active in the water plant. And I want to thank the crews for coming out for Thanksgiving morning. Had an outage, and they came off that plane, and we really appreciate them taking their day. I want to throw it over to the chief for 1 second. We had the old PNC Bank in town is going to be raised, knocked down. AutoZone is coming in, and when they came in and talked to Planning Commission and also to get their building permit, they offered us the opportunity to train in there. So I'll throw it over to Chief real quick.
Thanks. Lance has told me about this opportunity. That's really presenting a unique opportunity for us to practice in real time without worrying about damaging the structure or what we tore up. We went in there with the SRT team and some members of our department and other surrounding departments. They gave us an opportunity to go in there and secure that building and do exercises within that building. We tore up a bunch of stuff, and it's really a mess in there now, but that really is something we don't get to do very often because you have to be careful when you really simulate. This is as close to real as you can get. The big opportunity that it gives us is to work with departments other than our own so that when something real happens, we've had that opportunity to see how we operate, and we've worked together enough that we're comfortable with how the response is going to look. So that was a great opportunity. We appreciate Lance telling us about it. I spoke to the people that have the building up there now, and he went in there the first time. He said he didn't know what happened at first, and they realized we'd gone in there and had permission to do it. So we really appreciate the fact that they gave us that chance. And anytime we have an opportunity to do something right here locally in town, it just saves me an unbelievable amount of money on travel and overtime, so we can do it right on duty and right with our own people right here in the city. So that's a great opportunity. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention and letting us do that. I appreciate PNC, the people that bought the PNC building, letting us into their building to tear it up and do some exercises there.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you acting on that. I know it took a lot of planning to get that together. All right, that's all I have.
You'll receive the bill list for December 5th. Any comments on that? Not, there's no old business. Can I have a motion to read the ordinances by
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Vogt? Yes. Noel?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-2940, first reading. An ordinance amending appropriation ordinance 17-0-2900, adding $34,150 in the general fund, $2,800 in the cemetery fund, $23,700 in the park fund, $8,000 in the police pension fund, $2,500 in the Firestone Cemetery Trust Fund, $10,000 in the Emergency Medical Services Fund, $500 in the Unclaimed Monies Fund, and $2,200 in the Special Assessment Bond Retirement Fund, all for the payment of current expenses as they may arise.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Roll call?
Bowers?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Vogt? Yes. Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-2941, first reading. An ordinance transferring $70,000 from the income tax fund, $35,000 to the general fund, and $35,000 to the capital improvement fund, all for the payment of current expenses as they may arise.
So moved. Second.
Any comment? Roll call?
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Vogt? Yes. Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-2942, first reading. An ordinance transferring $35,000 from the general fund, $35,000 to the Special Assessment Bond Retirement Fund, all for the payment of current expenses as they may arise.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Comments? Roll call?
Wilson?
Yes.
Vogt? Yes. Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-2943, first reading. An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Columbiana, State of Ohio, for the first 3 months of the year 2018, ending March 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
I just want a few comments, Brian. As you know, we do have some ongoing projects going on, so that money had to be appropriated so that we could still pay the bills, such as the water line project that Mayor spoke about. That's why there's $500,000 in the capital improvements fund. Most of that is for the water line, and of course the water plant. What you see under that, under the water department, at $5,117,820. Again, most of that is for the water plant. They're about, money-wise, probably about 60–65% complete. So we're over the hump. So hopefully they stay on schedule. That's pretty much the big items that are included.
Any questions? Roll call?
Vogt? Yes. Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-2944, first reading. An ordinance establishing a wage schedule for certain full-time and part-time employees of the City of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Comment on this?
Lance, is this, providing them a raise at all or is this just creating a schedule?
Yeah, this, for this 3 full-time employees, it is matching the union contract, so it would be I believe it was 2%. And the schedule is, pretty much the same.
And these are non-union employees?
Right.
Okay, so they weren't covered by the union.
That's right.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Book? Yes.
No comments?
Yeah, as we're thinking of budget, I'd like to see us continue thinking stormwater. Get a little pittance in there for stormwater so we can approach some of these areas.
I believe, we're waiting on that report still that I asked for. Do you have a timeline for when that's being presented?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, first week of January, or the first meeting in January.
I know I'm gonna take an unpopular stand up here by some, but, obviously we have citizens in our community that want to discuss 1260. And I know I brought it up before, and I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer, and I know that on so many levels, we, are expected to protect the city by not asking questions about maybe, why the paperwork wasn't good. I can't see anything that stands out, and when you see things being presented to us with the word shall is mandatory, I'd like some clarification on stuff like that, why this isn't good. I mean, we are up here elected to represent everybody out there. And I think it's our responsibility to not snub our nose at them. I don't care if we just won an election or if we are up for election in 2 years. Our job is to take care of them. So I want to see some sort of an explanation and understanding. I know I've talked to Lance several times about this, and I'm still not satisfied that I have an answer that is good for me.
Well, I think, Mr. Dorn asked a question when he was up there that didn't get answered. And I think that question goes back to why wasn't there any action taken? And I think we do owe that explanation. What would make this, presentable? What did they do wrong? What makes it presentable to the council?
Well, also the letter that went out to him says documents do not appear to meet charter requirements. There's a lot of difference between do not meet charter requirements and appear not to meet charter requirements. It sounds like we're not really certain whether or not they meet charter requirements. I'd like an explanation as to why they don't meet requirements as well. And if you want to do that witness in private or whatever, I still think we need to have that information. And I think it ought to be related to the committee as well. I have another comment, another issue. On the restoration of the chapel out of the cemetery. We walked by it the other day, going through the cemetery, and I was absolutely amazed at the amount of structural reinforcement and the beams going underneath it to raise it up and support it and everything that's being done. I think that Escort received an occasional update letting us know what's going on and everything. I had no idea that they were going to be cutting holes through the sides of it and putting the I-beams and then the jacks to lift it and all that, although in looking at the condition of it, that was obviously needed. And it also looks like they have pavers and things going through it to keep it from toppling over and all that sort of stuff. But I just, because of my construction background, I'm a little bit like, yeah, this is kind of interesting, and I'd like a little more description of what's going on.
I would like to say a couple things. First of all, I would like to say that one of the big things that most people in Columbiana don't know about is on the east end of the swimming pool parking lot, we have a very historic site where Benjamin and Rachel Dixon Hanna, daughter of Joshua Dixon, who was the founder of Columbiana, you know, they put their original homestead. And that site has been there, people have known about it, and the reason they selected that site was because there was a spring there of water, so they had access to that. And that site has never really been properly shown, but I want to take my hat off tonight to the Historical Society, and particularly Dr. Jim Garstick, who's sitting back there, who is chairman of that committee. That site has been restored, and there has been a proper historical marker put out there this week. And I hope that picture is going to be in the paper because it recognizes the committee, which, you know, Nora Solomon at the Historical Society and a number of the people on the Historical Society have worked hard to get that done. And I urge you to go out there and see that site. It's beautiful, and it really speaks to the heritage of this community. It takes us right back to the beginning of when Columbiana was founded. So I'd like to make that statement. And I would also like to mention that on Channel 21 this week, there was a beautiful story about All-Pro Dad's Day at Joshua Dixon School. And the work done by Jeff Jackson, who's the assistant principal there, and Dr. Bruce Jeffries. It's a national program where fathers, and can be uncles or grandfathers, can come to the school once a month and eat breakfast with their children before they go to school. And this is a national program, but to my knowledge, it was the first one done in this area and set up, and it was really great. There were probably about 75 there, and if you saw it on TV, and it spoke again to the great things happening in Columbiana. And I would just like to say, you know, it's like at the last meeting, we were thanking the Chamber of Commerce for the parade and the Tourism Bureau for the beautiful joy of Christmas. And now we can recognize two other groups coming together, providing great service for our community. And, you know, really, that's one thing about Columbiana. It's about, you know, it's really just regular, ordinary people doing extraordinary things to the benefit of this community. So I'd like to applaud both of those groups today.
I'm going to throw in one of my plugs to add to that. The Pleasant Night Before 5K is coming up this coming Wednesday, and we have record numbers signed up ahead of time. We have close to 400 runners. So if they all show up, that'll be, I know we're expecting cold weather, but if they all show up, we are going to have our biggest year yet, and we've already bought quite a few gifts for Joshua Dixon's Giving Tree. We're donating proceeds to Wreaths Across America, which is a program that puts wreaths on the graves of our deceased military in places like Arlington Cemetery for the Christmas holidays. And depending on how we do, we may do some other things, but yeah, it's a great community to see the support that we have, and I want to see all of you out there. We have a 1 mile this year too. You don't have to do the whole 5K.
That's right.
Close to vehicular traffic.
Any other comments? You took words out of my mouth, Rick, with Dr. Garstick, and the Community Foundation was also responsible for the financial aspect of that marker program. Yeah, it's awesome. I remember about a year ago, you were in here asking us to take a look at why that wasn't taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
motion to adjourn.
So moved.